Hello my beautiful and lovely gamers, my name is Joan. Today we're taking a look at Widowmaker positioning guide, something that was requested a lot during our Tracer positioning guide, which we did last time. And if you want a whatever hero you want to see for the next positioning guide, we'll try to run through all, but whatever you want to see as the next one, drop it down in the comment section and I'll try to find one that the majority seems to want. So you can almost do that. There's also a Discord server and all the good stuff if you guys are interested in that. Now we're gonna do a little bit as always here in Snap Banana, and then we're gonna do more in game. Widowmaker is a very difficult hero to make a positioning guide for, so I'm gonna try to explain this. But I also mean on our Discord server or down in that comment section, you guys can ask, or on Twitter. I've linked all of those down in the description, or when I do stream on Twitch, all of that linked down in the description. You guys can ask questions, because again, this might be one of those things that's a little bit difficult to make into a 10-minute video, but I'll try my absolute best. But if there's something that you didn't understand 100%, do ask me, okay? I'm also very sorry for my voice, and if I need to like clear my throat sometimes because I'm very sick, so I have some stuff in my throat which I need to clear. I don't know how to explain it, but I need oxygen, okay? I'm not that pro right now as a human. I'm not high enough level human to be able to breathe without oxygen. So let's really just begin. So with Widowmaker, what you like to think about is you want to always kind of value how active you are. Your positioning kind of gives how active you are, counter how safe you are, right? So if you're in spawn, you're super safe, great, you fulfilled this, but you didn't fulfill active. If you're inside the enemy team, like legitimately like dived up top of the enemy team, you can shoot everyone. I'm sorry about that. So you're super active, but you're not safe at all. Like you'll die really, really fast, right? And then you die, and that's kind of shitty, right? So we like to kind of value in between those. And here's a quick guide to what makes you active. And this is like a really like on surface guide. High ground is safer, right? Normally, because like a tracer can't just dive you. It of course makes you visible. Line of sight is always something you need to think about as a Widowmaker, right? So if they have counter Widow and you're safer from the enemy Widow here, for example, right, than here, even though you're on high ground, there you were on low ground, right? But normally, high ground is considered safer, as if dive tanks want to dive you, they need to burn their dive ability, Genjis need to dash or wall climb. It's difficult for them to close the gap on you for most heroes, and you can play the high ground as a corner, right? So normally, high ground is safer than low ground. If playing with your team, so if you're Reinhardt, if this is like a representation of your entire team, like your Zarya, all your supports is this Rein. Okay, this is just a placeholder for all your team. If you're playing with your team, you're safer than if you're flanking, but you're less active. As always, we talked about this with Genji and Tracer. If the enemy team sees your team pushing here, they will block that angle and they will position themselves accordingly to your team, right? So their Zenyatta will be playing here. He will not be playing here, right? He'll be playing here. So if we play on the flank, we get LOS to him, but we split from our team. So now we don't get healed, right? And we don't get healed, and we can potentially be pushed. That's where we use grappling hook, so making sure that for example, you would never grappling hook to this position unless you're doing it for a quick shot. If you want to hold this position for a long period of time, then you would go here, and then you have your grappling hook to escape up to high ground if you get pushed. For example, a Tracer comes through here, or the Zarya rushes you, or whatever, so you can rotate up here, or over to your team again, right? That's the kind of baseline of a Widowmaker. So that's kind of the difference in between being active and being safe. What you can kind of use to value that up on, okay? So now comes to how LOS works, okay? So again, LOS is just really line of sight, is stands for. Some people don't know what that stands for. LS means line of sight, which for a Widowmaker means, so imagine it like this. A Widowmaker can claim space without physically being there. That's one of the few rare things a Widowmaker can do that rarely no other hero can do. A Genji can't do that, a Hanzo can't really do that. They can do it for very short spaces, but not very long spaces, right? But a Widowmaker, because no damage drop off, and because she is so good at, she's a hit scan with a scope on, she has so long range, she can deny an area without even being there. As long as she can see it, she has denied that area, potentially, as long as your accuracy is good enough, right? So, for example, if the Widowmaker is positioned herself here, this is a super aggro position, right? What is denied here? Okay, everything towards this corner is denied. Right, is that where I can see? And probably all the way up to around, like, here somewhere. All of that, right now, is denied. You could just as well have put your Rein here, right? Now it's just about you hitting that shot. And that's a super aggressive position. The only difference is that, okay, what do we normally do if a Reinhardt tries to claim space, right? So if this Rein tries to push this other Rein, then they shoot at him, right? The damage to kill him and the anti-nade him and all that good stuff. He has his team, he has his Zarya and his supports and his DPSs to help him, claim this space, so there's a fight there. Right now on this flank, you don't, however, right? So that's a really good way. So if you're here, for example, and you know the enemy team is fighting like that, okay, what you're denying main right now. Meaning if the enemy team want to push main, and you're potentially denying here as well, if they want to flank from this tracer, right? So if they want to push main, they're pushing straight into your crosshair, right? So you can deal tanks. However, that's not you're not being very active. As the enemy team is not going to push that far. That's logical. They're going to hold their defensive position as a defending team, right? If you were at defense, right, then this is much different. As they will a lot of time, then you can position yourself so you put your crosshair where they're gonna push, right? But as an offense, we need to put our crosshair where they're currently defending or where they're currently standing, right? And that's the sense of Widowmaker position. How we create LOS and how risky that LOS becomes, okay? So let's run through... I'll not run through the entire map, but let's go through that here, okay? We're gonna run through it in-game in Overwatch. There's a lot, I know this is very, very confusing. I said this is a very complex hero. That's why I like to do this in private coaching instead. As in private coaching, we have, it's 50 euro for a 2-hour session, and you can hit me up on Discord if you're interested. But no, it doesn't matter your rank or anything like that. You guys know how this works, right? If you're top 100 bronze, doesn't really matter, right? And any hero, but if you cramming all this into a 10-minute video, I know it can be a little bit confusing. So again, those questions on Discord, on Twitter, on my Twitch stream whenever I stream, or something like that, or in the comment section, always appreciated. Your target prioritization is quite simple. These guys are categorized as a priority 1, right? Stuff that you can one-shot is priority 1. Stuff you cannot one-shot is priority 2. So tanks are priority 2. Everyone else is practically priority 1, right? As you can one-shot practically anyone else. And then... yeah, and that's really it. Normally we would say that you do shield break. Normally we don't do that much shield breaking with Widow just because it gives away our position too much, right? And always, and you'll see that when we run this now in game here, that we always, when we play this, we always, okay, swap position constantly. If it doesn't work, we don't just stay here and wait, okay? If you play defensive Widow, you can potentially do that on some point, right? If I'm defending somewhere, right, I can potentially hold an angle for a longer period of time. Again, for example, if I'm up here, for example, that's a very common area, right? I can potentially deny this if the enemy team has pushed to, my team is defending out here and the enemy team is pushing, right? Potentially I can play up here for a longer period of time, especially if they don't have a counter Widow to me. But even here, I would like to swap angles, right? Because I want to be... you know, surprising the enemy team from where they're getting it shot at, right? So that they cannot feel comfortable setting up their attack, right? So even here, I would constantly like to swap angles to make it difficult for them to do anything about me, right? That way they can't easily do anything about me, either by attacking me or just by hiding. Because that's the biggest way to counter a Widowmaker, is normally to hide LOS. What I do sometimes in GM, because I cannot out-aim a Widow GM, but for example, if we would need a Widowmaker, is, for example, the Widowmaker will play up there, even in Masters. Like, there's been some really good Master Widows lately. If there's someone up here, a Widowmaker, that's too good for me, right? I'll just do this. And then I'll start their support play over on crates. Okay, cool. And I'll just play here, right? And I'll take this angle. And I'll just fight the enemy team here, rotate back here, right? And then take the shot at their Widow, or rotate... and play here, right? That way I can just dodge their Widow LS if I'm not good enough to 1v1 her. And then I'll wait until I start seeing her shoot at my team, because she doesn't want to wait, right? And then hello. Then we take that shot, right? That's a really good way if I'm too bad to take the enemy Widow on like a pure like that, like a pure peak. I'll just take another one. And that's a lot of time because they don't swap their position too much. And then I know where they are, so then I'll just wait until an opportunity for me arises when I feel... that I want to take the fight. And then I'll take the fight, right? Hello. Bam, right? So, positioning. Bam, bam, bam. Running through this real quick. Normally, you can play, for example, relatively safe through main, right? Clear these high grounds. Make sure that when your team is pushing, it's like they are safe. Remember as well, if I'm here, let's say I'm standing. Let's just say I'm playing low ground here, right? I'll actually show you guys in game. If I'm playing low ground here and my team is here, right? They're pushing the payload. Right, and the enemy team is whatever, they're playing over here or they're doing their stuff, right? Whatever. I don't care really how they're positioned. They're positioned like this, for example, right? Doesn't really matter, right? Remember also what I do for my team now. As my Ana is like, let's say my Ana is here. Make her red, right? And let's say I'm like up here or whatever, and my tanks are pushing, and the Ana is positioning herself here or here, for example, right? If she now get pressured, let's say she get dived by this tracer, right? because I'm here, I'm also protecting her, right? Or if I see someone go up high ground, because I am here and I have LOS on that high ground, I can actually deal with that, right? So I'm also so when I'm denying LOS, I'm also securing my own team if I'm holding far back and not flanking super aggressively far up, right? I'm also holding far, I'm also guarding them. So you can play up here, right? Look for picks, look for something, right? You gotta always think about how the enemy team is gonna retreat and fall back, right? So if you know that, for example, the tanks are most likely gonna drop. Let's say you play Bastion Comp, right? And they're gonna rush you on the payload. Then that's really good to know, because then I, for example, would like to position myself here. Because when their tanks drop down there, their supports will have to fight either up here or down here or somewhere. They cannot play here, because on high ground I cannot see them here, right? They cannot play there, because if they play there, then their tanks are not going to get help. They can play like this, potentially, but they are fighting over there, so, right? So then I know that they will most likely have to peek somewhere here, which is also an angle that peeks me up here, right? Same with here. Like, if they want to fight, they got to peek here, or like here, and all of those angles peek me on the high ground, right? So then I can position myself up here. Right, I can start through a low ground, right, so they don't expect me to be there, right? Start here, just taking some shots, right, just looking for, maybe I started up here, right, just look for some angles, right? And then I'll be like, okay, my payload is closing up, right? I'm looking for something. Their tanks drop, okay, that's the set, bam, right? Now I can start looking, now I can start getting frags, right? The tanks want to fall back, okay, we can rotate over to here, for example, right? Look for a shot, right? Maybe even play here, right? As again, my team is over there, they're pushing the enemy team back, so it doesn't really matter if I'm standing here too much, as long as my team is pushing, right? Then goes for here. This is like a super aggressive angle. If the enemy team is defending that corner, right, then I can position myself here if I want to, right? This is a aggressive but safe angle, because, again, my team is somewhere here, meaning my support is somewhere here, right? So meaning if I get pressured up here, I can just drop. Like this, I have cover, I have a wall, I've covered, and I get healed. Right? Then I can take a different angle if I want to, right? I have options to take different angles, right? If I want to, right? I can shoot from all these kind of weird, crazy angles, right? That I want to, either low ground like this, right? Or I can go up here, right? To shoot from. At the same time, up here, notice how much I'm denying, right? I'm denying that window, which I don't have to deny if I don't want to. I can just go here and start shooting. I can pressure their tanks. I can deny crates. I can deny that high ground over there, over here. And I can easily peek stuff like here, right? So if their supports are playing close to here or over here or something like that, all of that is denied by me standing up there. All of this is denied by me standing up there, right? As long as they can see, as long as you're on defense, can see that corner here, that area here, right? Meaning this is safe, but then you can't help your team, right? This is not safe, right? Nothing is really safe as long as you're playing here. You can play stairs and then hail here. That's what you can do, which forces everyone to play on stairs, right? Which is super great for me as a Widowmaker. Because, again, if they're all hiding on stairs, then, like, okay, whatever, dude. Like, I can peek you guys like that if I want to with a grapple shot. That's where grapple shot come in. Where grapple shot gives you so many options. So going through maps and finding good way to do grapple shots are really, really important, right? So, for example, one of my favorites is on this one. On this water tower, I think it is, right? Grapple like that and shoot over, right? That's one of my personal favorites, right? Woo! You have so many, you can get so many nasty angles on enemy Widowmakers, and also on enemy supports, right? There's an armor hard scoping there, that's easy kill. That's why you should always be constantly moving as a defender, and also as an attacker, because Widowmakers love people just standing still, right? On the same spot constantly, right? Knowing, of course, in the end it comes down to aim, but I hope that this kind of explains a little bit more of how we like to do kind of our defense and our offense as a Widowmaker, right? Creating these angles and constantly using those, playing high grounds and deep angles into them, and thinking about our safety, using grappling hook to get out and so on is very, very important. I hope that this makes sense. I've been trying to make this video. Again, it's very, very difficult to cram it all into it's 14 minutes, already way over my time limit. But so I'm gonna cut it off here. Questions on the Discord, Twitch, all that good stuff. And if you're interested in hiring me a private coach, as I said, you can hit me up on our Discord server. It's 50 euros for a 2-hour session. Doesn't matter if you're a bronze or top 100, doesn't matter if you play on a team or anything like that. As long as you can get the VOD to me, I can help you improve, rank up, and get better at the game. I hope you guys have a lovely, lovely gaming experience. Like the video and subscribe and all the good stuff with the bell notification, which I've learned I'm supposed to say now for some reason. So with the bell notification, boys. And I hopefully see you guys in the next one. As always, guys, take care of yourselves. Stay positive. I love you guys very, very much. And you guys know what to do. Keep the enemy in your crosshairs.